Welcome, Get Speaking Gigs fans, friends, and followers. We are here today to talk about a plan for booking speaking gigs, a detailed, complete, full plan for booking speaking gigs, perhaps. Stick around and see what I mean. All right. Essentially, the plan is an essential piece of booking speaking gigs. There was a time in my life when I thought that if I just said I was a speaker, in fact, I used to be a magician. So that was really similar, right? I would stand on a stage, I'd open my mouth, I would do things with my hands. Now, if I just deleted the word magician from all my marketing materials, my website, everything, and then replaced it with the word speaker, surely the same marketing systems would work to produce gigs. Now, in the magician and mentalism performing arts space, I had systems, I had plans, I had known exactly what to do in order to book gigs. And yet, in the speaking business, it was different. It was just flat out different. Higher trust transaction, not just because the fees were 10 times as high, but also because you are now speaking for the organization who brought you in. So it is very different in terms of the type of transaction. It's very different in terms of the process of selecting speakers versus selecting, magicians or entertainers. So the point is this: the plan didn't work for speaking. Maybe you've had a similar situation, right? Maybe you've run a business. Maybe you've been a coach. Maybe you were a trainer. Maybe you have done related stuff and now you want to do more speaking and the systems just haven't worked for you. So let me show you a graph. And this graph, I'm going to cut off a lot of it, right? I'm going to cut off a lot of it. But essentially, this graph is how many gigs that I booked using my non-plan, right? My plan was basically, all right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do some free gigs, and I'm going to hope that those free gigs turn into paid gigs. And as you can see, the graph went like this: 0 gigs, right? Without a plan, 0 gigs, 0 gigs, 0 gigs, 0 gigs, 0 gigs. Whoop! I got a gig. I booked a gig. Someone saw me speak, and I just kind of got lucky, and I booked a gig. Now, when I say 0 gigs, I mean 0 paid gigs. I was doing free gigs. It's easier to book free gigs than it is to book paid gigs. I think a lot of people would agree with that, but you still need to book them. You still need to get out there and get them. So I did have a pretty good system for booking free gigs. Couldn't convert them. Didn't know how to do it for paid gigs. All right, with a plan. I'm going to scroll up now. Now this is the next. I mean, that was 3 years of just between the time my daughter was born, my oldest daughter, and I realized I cannot be doing 300 magic shows a year anymore. I must be home with my daughter. I want to be home with my daughter. I need to find something else. I don't have a college degree. I have no resume. I have no work experience. What can I do? I can stand on stages, open my mouth, have sound come out, and move my hands, right? Maybe there is something I can do that's higher leverage than a funny haha magic show. Maybe I can go from being a novelty to being a necessity. So that was my motivation. And then it took a few years between daughters, right? Then my second daughter was one. I'm like, okay, I still haven't made any progress. Something's got to give. I can't keep doing the same things and expecting different results. Something's got to give. So I came up with this plan. I hired coaches and I worked with people and I found people who were doing it successfully and I followed their advice. And it was a little haphazard, but at first 6 months, I had 3 paid speaking gigs, and then 7, and then 16, and then 26, and things just kind of skyrocketed. Success has built upon success. And, this is part of my webpage where I talk about where that success has led. Right, regular gigs at 5-figure fees plus first class airfare when it's not digital and I get to work from home, and ground and lodging, hundreds of major media appearances, mid 5-figure book deal with Penguin Random House. That's this guy right here, and on and on and on it goes. It was and it has been a wonderful run, and I think we're just getting started. In fact, follow me on the journey. I'm going to show you behind the scenes exactly what I do every single day to get these kinds of gigs. And go ahead, and it is in the Medium of our program description, right? It is in the links and description below this video. There's a thing that says Medium. Join our inner circle membership there. All right, that is that's where we're at. Now, this is the plan for you, right? This is the plan that I promised. It is real simple. I can't give a full detailed step-by-step plan. Obviously, there's a lot of things that speakers do to get bookings. And it isn't that we do one thing to get 100 gigs. Rather, we do 100 things to get 1 gig. And those 100 things are not just willy-nilly haphazard, right? We do them focused, and when they work together to move gigs forward. And they basically fall into these 3 categories. The first is you've got to get clear. I'll talk about them all in a second. The second is you've got to get noticed. And the third is you've got to get paid. Got to get paid. So getting clear is focusing on what it is that you're offering, focusing in on what you are selling. I can't stress this enough. If you don't know what your message is, if people ask you, hey, what do you do? Or, hey, what do you speak about? And you can't answer that question in like a sentence, then you're not clear on what you speak about and who you speak to. So that one sentence has to pass the telephone test. That level of clarity where people immediately say, aha, I know exactly what you do. And I can tell immediately whether or not it's something I want, right? And if I don't think I want it, it also might trigger something for me to think, oh, I know who does, right? So that level of clarity is so important that needs to happen. And then they need to be able to turn around and then go talk to other people and say, hey, I just met this person, or hey, I just saw this website, or hey, I watched this speaker demo reel, or hey, I read this one sheet. Don't use one sheets. And it was so clear. Here's what they talk about. Here's what they can bring to our event. And that's what I call passing the telephone test of your clarity level. All right, so let's get clear. Gosh, so many ways of making that happen. And we talk about it a lot on this channel. Make sure you get subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification button. Facebook user says, hey, Tim, I'm an alum. Glad seeing you. So informative and active. Thank you, alum. Appreciate it. Welcome back to the Get Speaking Gigs community. YouTube's a relatively new thing around here. So get on the subscribe and hit the bell. It's good for our algorithms. Step 2, get noticed. You'll never be booked if you're not bookable. You'll never be booked if you're not bookable. You got to be concise, compelling, unique, but not too unique. A lot of speakers fall into that trap. They say, I'm just different. I'm unique. Nobody's like me. Well, then they don't know what to do with you. They don't know where to put you. They don't know how to sell you to the speaker selection committee, right? They don't know what to do with you. So you've got to be unique without being too unique. And the way I like to approach that, here's some tips right here, is I like to solve a problem that is common. A common problem: leadership, motivation, sales, innovation, creativity, diversity, equity, inclusion. Common problems that organizations have. And I like working with companies. I like working with corporations. That, to me, people say, I want to be a public speaker. No, you don't. You want to be a private speaker. You want to speak to corporations, and you want to be able to distribute your message through where grown-ups go to work, right? I talk about this a lot on this channel. You want to be able to speak to corporations. And if you can help people, you can help corporations. But hear me on this. That's where the second piece comes in. You may say, well, Tim, I am a personality assessment finder. Well, that doesn't solve motivation or sales or whatever. Your job is to package that. This is about getting noticed. This is about getting out there, of course, as well. Getting noticed is about marketing. But marketing, again, starts with, it's 4 things. It's the right message to the right market through the right media at the right moment. Get those 4 things right. You're going to get noticed. You're going to get booked. The right message to the right market through the right media. Okay, that could be email, phone call, direct mail. Like, how would they like to be reached? Social media, whatever. At the right moment. They may think that this is the perfect speaker for their event, but they don't start planning their event for another 8 months. So if you get those 4 things right, there's your plan, right? There is your plan. Now, the right market might not be what you think the right market is. The right message might not be what you think the right message is. Maybe you're just a few small tweaks away from each of these areas, and just so close, right on the cusp. So, but it is important to get them right. So, I believe the secret here that I'm getting at is you solve a problem that is common via a method or a means or an angle that is uncommon. So you might say, I do Reiki for middle managers. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, so you come and you put your hands on our middle managers and you say, no, 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 no. And you clarify, okay, let me try again. I'm just coming off the top of my head here. I teach the principles of Reiki to your middle managers. And they say, well, hang on a second. Why would they want to become Reiki practitioners? That doesn't make no sense. Hang on a second. I'm going to fix this. I teach how your middle managers can use the principles and apply the principles that I've learned from a lifetime in Reiki to being better leaders. And I'll show you the 5 tips and the 5 ways that I do that. Like, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're clear, because now it's like, okay, I know that we need to have better leaders. Our middle management is, but I've never heard of using the principles of Reiki. And what can we learn about leadership from a Reiki practitioner? And this is why so many of our speakers are not leadership experts, but they speak on leadership. They are not sales experts, but they speak on sales, because they know it is not about becoming an expert in all of leadership. It is simply taking your area and your body of knowledge and say, hey, how could this be useful to these people, right? And that is a huge, crucial part of your plan, is identifying exactly, hey, this is what I speak about. Hey, this is how it's going to get noticed, how I'm going to package it, how I'm going to make it relevant to you. And I'm going to check those 4 boxes: the right message to the right market through the right media at the right moment. And then you start turning that into paid gigs. Now, this part is essentially leveraging opportunities to greater opportunities, because if you use your marketing, it's going to be a little bit of a numbers game to get started. But once you get started, once you have momentum, once you have a foot in the door, once you have developed some relationships, and again, that process is daunting for some people who might consider themselves introverts. But I will tell you, if you have the desire to stand on a stage and to share your message, then you have the relationship building skills, because you care, right? You care about reaching people with your message. You care about helping other people. So you've got what it takes. That's basically the only ingredient that I can't teach you, is the desire. Like, do you want to do this? Do you want to stand on a stage or in front of a camera, deliver your message, create a course, deliver a speech, do trainings, write books, get your message out and distribute it to the world? And if you want to do that via corporations, business audiences, associations, I mean, that's you go where the people are. That's where the people are. Then, I'm your guy, right? I mean, because I can teach everything else. I can't teach the desire. So for the exact plan, for the exact step-by-step plan that takes 90 days to enact, and frankly, almost 90 days to explain, but to do those things and to have clear and usable information that you can take, and practical, that's the word I'm looking for, practical information that you can take and do right away, without a website, without a book, without a demo video, without a clue. Even if you don't have a clue, jump in, go down the link below, check that large button where we talk about 0 to 10K in 90 days. Yes, it's possible with a plan. All right, that is it from me. I have a lot of meetings today, which is why I'm not wearing my hat. And the first one rather today is starting shortly. I have 4 meetings today with clients. And, if, again, you're interested in learning how to set that up so you have system, they just booked it. One of them, I have no idea who it is, where they came from, or anything like that. I will certainly find that out and do my research. But there are incoming leads, and if you want to have meetings every day where you're talking about bringing your message to people, let's talk. Let's talk. Hey, I think that might be a good tagline for Get Speaking Gigs. I also kind of like speak soon. So speak soon. We'll see you next time. In fact, let's go ahead and disappear in a puff of smoke today.